We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Life as a Chad YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. So this past week, when I went to the gym, I soft brag, I saw the recent video from Steven Crowder regarding the most, well, this is not necessarily a recent situation that has developed. I guess it's a recent situation that's developed for him, but not necessarily a recent development for others. And this development for him in particular, for others maybe not so recent, is the understanding that Con Inc. is dirty and hypocritical, to say the least. I was thinking of playing some of the audio from his video, but ultimately I don't know if he's one of those guys that does the copyright strikes and things like that. But suffice it to say, his main gripe and the thing that provided him with this awakening was the fact that these contracts that some of these big conservative media companies, I don't know exactly who, it could be The Blaze, it doesn't sound like it's CRTV, it could be Daily Wire, it could be Daily Caller, all these big places. Steven Crowder was basically advising any young or new content creators not to sign these contracts, because these contracts basically are in lockstep with these big tech companies, Twitter, YouTube, things like that. They're basically in line with the TOS situation of all these big tech companies. And in other words, are rewarding as opposed to fighting back with these barbaric, censorship, fascist ways of doing things. And the thing is, I'm happy that Steven Crowder realized this. Steven Crowder, for myself personally, he was one of the earliest conservative content creators that I watched. I feel like if you are a conservative individual, even regardless of if you've been a conservative or if you just became a conservative, I feel like how it goes is that just kind of the normal progression is, Steven Crowder, or, well, let's go back. Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, I don't know, Nick Fuentes. And then, if you progress far enough, you get to maybe Alex Jones is somewhere in the middle, probably closer to the end. And as you progress, if you get far enough, you basically end up more towards Jay Dyer. But the point is that for me specifically, and I think many others, Steven Crowder is somebody that people have begun with at the beginning of their awakening. So I'm happy that he came to this realization. It's pretty late. This is not new information. In fact, I am confident to say that in previous videos, in previous years, Steven has gone against people who have exposed this truth when it comes to Con Inc. Because when it comes to Steven in particular, he is very big on the idea of not, regardless of if you have some nuanced differences or very small incremental differences from one conservative creator to another, he is not big on infighting. He thinks that there's more harm that comes than good when you participate in that. So when there have been other conservative creators in the past who have pushed back against Con Inc. and things like that. Steven Crowder has pushed back against them. So Steven not only is late to the party, but I would say that he has even contributed to this bullshit that exists within Con Inc. I'm not going to make this video too long because it's pretty straightforward. Point is that I'm personally happy he has come to this realization. It's a little late, not a little late, a lot late. I think Steven, when he realizes things, has courage by and large to stand up to what is right, but it takes him longer to realize these things than others. And it is what it is. He also talked about how he's basically coming for it all, how he's starting his own conservative conglomerate, and he's going to give some of these Con Inc. Companies a chance to rectify the situation. It doesn't have to be this way. And like I said, he's going to start his own thing, it sounds like, even though he also said that he's going to give a chance to some of these Con Inc. Businesses a chance to rectify the situation. I also saw something later with Jordan Peterson coming into the fray. I don't know specifically what the disagreement is there, but if Jordan Peterson does disagree with Steven, it's not really surprising, folks. Jordan Peterson is not a conservative. Jordan Peterson is, I would consider him a 1960s, 1970s liberal. It's just now, because the left has gone so far left, would Jordan Peterson be considered a conservative? But he's not. So I am not surprised if that is true, that he's kind of pushing back against Steven, if that is to be the case. But I would recommend that you go and look into that yourself to see whether that's true or not, if you care enough to do that. This is final thoughts on this. This is absolutely a situation. If you go back to some of my earlier videos, I have 2 or 3 videos discussing this fact of life. When it comes to conservatism and the conservative movement, you have so many content creators and so many just so many people within the movement that capitalize on this evil and capitalize on this need for nourishment, this need for having their voices and their identities and their theologies heard. They know that this group of people is bigger than most people realize, and they know that they are so silent and that they would do anything to have their opinions heard without threat of losing their job and things like that. And so they take advantage. Con Inc. takes advantage. If you go to, and this is why I don't, and I'm not pretending that I'm virtuous in regards to this, but I will point this out nonetheless. This is why I personally don't, when it comes to thumbnails, I don't put some outrageous, stupid as fuck face, like, oh, or caption exposed, or, Chad exposes the red pill, whatever the fuck. I don't do that because it's not authentic. And I know that for whatever reason, a lot of people who watch YouTube and things like that get drawn into videos just by the thumbnail. And I don't want that to be the reason that you find my channel. I want you to stay at my channel because you find the content of the things I say to be valid and legitimate. So that's just an example. And if you go to any of these major conservative YouTube creators or just content creators, let's just say content creators, you will see a shit ton of thumbnails that are just so outrageous and so silly. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to pull it up right now. So I'm not doing this to Matt Walsh in particular because I dislike him or like him. It's just that's who came to my mind within the last 20 seconds of me pausing the video. And he's not even probably the worst I've seen, but you look at some of these thumbnails and like it comes across as Matt Walsh is infiltrating and he is the individual who is fighting and going against the leftist mob and all this shit, and it's just not true. Which brings me to my next point, because the thumbnail thing is more just a symptom of a larger problem. And the larger problem is that when it comes to the conservative movement, you have a situation where you have all of these creators and all of these individuals who make you feel like something is getting done, like when something major happens, when something comes out about a school teaching LGBTQT or transgenderism, or some kid going to a drag queen story hour or something like that, okay, a conservative creator will hop on and make you feel like their video is doing something to combat that situation, when in reality, it's not. It's not. Conservative content creation is nothing more than spreading the ideology and giving it some exposure to the masses, where that used to not be the case, because most conservative talking individuals could primarily only be heard on one of two places: Fox News or the radio, okay, AM radio. So, and now that's not the case. Now, I'm not saying that that's a small thing, okay, because it's not. It's a great thing, and I'm glad that conservatism is being broadcast to the masses, and it is such a good thing that's the reason why Twitter and YouTube had to censor so many conservatives, because conservatism was starting to absolutely take over the culture war. Okay. Now, on the flip side, when it comes to actually impacting real world laws, things that happen that occur within the school system, things that occur in Washington, D.C., and legitimately making a real world impact on things that are going on. Not so much, but they make you feel like they are. But it's not true, okay? And I'm a part of that situation too, okay? I'm not going to pretend like me personally, I go and do this or that or the other, but at the same token, I'm willing to accept that and admit that and be honest about it. Whereas I think a lot of conservative content creators are not. I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Tooth, okay? Tooth, you had so many conservative content creators pushing this outrage. 99% of in which I would agree with, but they pushed this outrage, that basically promoted this sense of hopelessness, this situation where if you did not do what they were saying, such as not taking, the medicine juice and things of that nature, then you were a part of the problem. When in reality, most Americans are not in the same situation as Steven Crowder. Most Americans are not in the same situation as Matt Walsh, where they can make a decision like that. Most people cannot. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. They cannot afford to make a decision like that. And the bigger point is, do you really think a YouTube video is making a difference in whether people's workforce are forcing or not forcing them to get the medicine juice? Of course not. It doesn't do anything. So that's the larger issue here. Con Inc. is a very real thing. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm very curious to see how it shakes out. I'm curious to see Steven Crowder's next step. And it's been a while since I've watched his content at all. That was probably the only video I've seen in the past year and a half from him. So we'll see how it shakes out. I'm very curious what you guys think about this, what you guys think about Con Inc. And just in general, content creating from a conservative standpoint. How much of an impact does it really make? So go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section, like, comment, and of course, subscribe. Takes 1.25 seconds. Support your boy, a fellow king out. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow and facts are feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Bye, Kings.